What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. So this is actually the first time I'm even making a video of the 11 Pro besides that unboxing, but we're going to do a bit of a comparison between the iPhone 11 Pro and the iPhone XS. So even though you can't buy a XS anymore, this one does have a skin on it. These are probably two of the best competitors right now in the brand new, in the used market. I mean, when you're comparing a used XS to a new iPhone 11, but in the Apple stores, Apple's not selling the XS anymore, which is super sad because it's still a super capable phone. But I want to get one misconception out of the way, one huge thing. If you have an iPhone XS, please do not update to an iPhone 11, okay? It's definitely not worth an upgrade at all. Like, yes, the 11 is overall the better phone. There are some really cool things about the iPhone 11 that make it a better phone, but I do think the XS is pretty much still good, and I think you can probably get by for a much longer time. I mean, this is not a bad phone. This isn't even an old phone, so I just want to get that misconception out of the way. Yes, the 11 is better, but I will mentally feel uncomfortable if you actually go and get an iPhone 11 from an iPhone XS, unless you have an upgrade or you're a billionaire or whatever the case is. But one thing I was immediately caught off guard was the back. So of course I have a skin on here, but with the iPhone 11, it's a bit of a frosted glossy thing. I think that's what they're calling it. I think I'm in the minority here, okay? I think it feels good. I think it feels all right. I just can't put my finger on it what it reminds me of, though. I've been saying it for like a week too. I'm like, or like since yesterday, I'm like, what does it feel like? I think it reminds me of like a candle or something, like a glossiness of like the candle top. I might be going into too many details, but I am a fan of it. However, I think it doesn't feel as premium as the glass back on the XS. I have an iPhone X as my main phone, and for some reason, those phones feel more premium to me than this. Especially you have glass right here, right by the camera sensor, and that feels more premium than this. So even though I know this is glass or whatever, this one feels more premium to me. Like the little feeling here, especially like when I use my XS or 10 or my iPhone 11, that back feels better than this. So maybe I'm in the minority, I don't know, but that is something that caught me off guard a little bit. But in terms of the way they feel almost identical. They're almost the same thickness. Some people are saying otherwise, but overall to me, they feel like exactly the same phone. They do not feel that different at all. And I have the gold models of both, and you can see they're exactly the same shade of gold. The back is obviously different, and obviously the main difference in the back is the triple camera setup on the iPhone 11 Pro, where you only have a dual camera setup on the iPhone XS. I'm going to probably keep calling this the iPhone 11 by accident, but I mean the 11 Pro. Now, they're pretty much the same in terms of both, even in terms of the IP certification. They're both IP68 dust and water resistant, so you can go up to 2 meters of water for 30 minutes, so that's really, really cool. I'm really happy about that. But in terms of everything else, I mean, Apple is kind of doing this thing where they're saying like, oh, you have like the Super Retina XDR on the iPhone 11 or whatever. Dude, they're almost the same exact display. Like maybe it's better a little bit, but overall it's just a bunch of marketing things. I think they're almost exactly the same. Maybe if you're looking at it like with a microscope, you can tell, but yes, there's a bigger, brighter, you can get more nits on the screen. Maybe you can get brighter, but overall I think they're really good displays still. One big difference between those two is the lack of 3D touch on the iPhone 11. So there's no 3D touch, it's just haptic feedback or haptic touch. As you can see, you can't like force touch on it. However, the iPhone XS still does have it, so you can just force touch into it, as you can see, and it gets you which is weird though, because they're both running iOS 13, but you have different pop-ups on them. So when you force touch into that, you get that pop-up, but when you force touch into this, you get that. So I don't really understand that. Am I doing something wrong? Wait, am I doing something wrong, guys? I don't know, but I'll figure that out later. It's not that big of a deal. But in terms of that pretty much covers that. Now, in terms of software, this is where things get a little weird, okay? I think the iPhone 11 will get the same updates as the iPhone XR, but these two, I actually don't know. And this is kind of making me second guess that thing I said about the XR and the 11. I do think that the iPhone 11 Pro will probably get one more version of iOS than this at least. So there's only a year apart difference. So this is going to stop probably, there's so many more years of support, so there's not even any point talking about it. But realistically, the iPhone 11 should technically last you longer than the iPhone XS, but could be the case where they're almost identical. So at least that's kind of a good news right there. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of a speed comparison between these two. I have most of the same apps on both of these devices, so I'll just run through them and we can see which one is faster. I'm pretty sure the iPhone 11 and Pro is going to be the faster one. Interestingly enough though, the iPhone XS has an Apple A12 Bionic chip, a hexa-core CPU, and 4 gigs of RAM on all the models. Same thing with the iPhone 11 Pro though, you have the Apple A13 Bionic chip, a hexa-core CPU, and 4 gigs of RAM on all the models as well, which is weird. I was expecting more. Apparently there are some rumors that Apple did actually increase it, but we don't know right now. Nothing's been verified, but let's go ahead and do a little bit of a comparison, see which one is the faster device between these two. So I have all the apps cleared out in the background except for this one. So let's go ahead and load up some of these apps. Let's go ahead and let's start off with Facebook. 3, 2, 1. And again, like as you guys already tell, the iPhone 11 is actually the one on the right. Sorry if I didn't say that. And as you saw, the iPhone 11 open that one up faster. Let's do Twitter. 3, 2, 1. Okay, the iPhone XS was the faster one here. Kind of interesting. Let's go ahead and do Instagram. 3, 2, 1. And I don't know which one was faster there. I think maybe one was faster, but I couldn't really tell. Let's do Temple Run. 3, 2, 1. And as you can see, the iPhone 11 Pro was way ahead of the iPhone 11. And we are into it on the iPhone 11 Pro, and shortly after we get onto it on the iPhone XS. Kind of weird, wasn't expecting this much of a difference, but apparently the Apple A13 chip is a really big deal now. Snapchat, 3, 2, 1. Now I'm pretty sure this is one of those apps that everyone's going to be using. I don't understand how the iPhone XS opened that one up faster. I'm on the same updates on both. I updated all the apps, so that was kind of weird. Paper IO 2, 3, 2, 1. And they were almost identical there. To load up that little image thing on the left, though, it was faster on the iPhone XS. Let's get into some gameplay. Now, this is one of those apps that are just like, it's just so bad on like just running. I don't know why it's so laggy, but you can tell they're almost identically the same, which isn't saying much because this is a super glitchy app. So it's a glitchy SoundCloud. 3, 2, 1. Make sure you guys follow me on SoundCloud. You guys already know. The iPhone 11 Pro did open it up faster, as well as this little dialog box. Temple Run 2. 3, 2, 1. A little bit of a pop-up here, but that shouldn't have affected anything. But I will go ahead and redo this one. Temple Run 2. 3, 2, 1. And the 11 Pro is just a little bit ahead of the iPhone 11. Is it a crazy difference? Not really. I was seeing a bigger difference between my iPhone XR and iPhone 11. But this one, kind of a little bit of a difference. Getting into some gameplay, I don't think you'll notice that big of a difference either. I mean, they're almost identical. This isn't that big of a game anyway, so really they're almost the same. But the iPhone 11 Pro was the faster one. Bofa, 3, 2, 1. And the 11 Pro was the faster one, as you can see. Kind of interesting, kind of expected actually. Dropbox, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to move this actually. This Rubik's Cube again is getting in my way. And I was too busy moving the Rubik's Cube that I couldn't tell which one was the faster one. Quizlet, 3, 2, 1. Again, the 11 Pro was the faster one there. Netflix, 3, 2, 1. Again, the iPhone 11 Pro was the faster one. Awesome. Snake versus Blocks, 3, 2, 1. Okay, cool. Again, the iPhone 11 Pro was faster. I get so happy when the newer iPhones are faster because you're paying more money to get a faster phone. I think people think I like seeing, newer phones being slower. That's not the case at all. I mean, yeah, I get to make a video about it, but I want to, if I'm spending money to get a faster phone, I'm not spending money to get the same, type of experience. Thank you. 3, 2, 1. And again, the iPhone 11 Pro is the faster one. Awesome. I'm so happy to say that. Like I said, at first I was like, okay, maybe I don't know which one is the faster one, but cool. Fruit Ninja. All right. 3, 2, 1. Okay. And as you saw, the iPhone 11 was getting into it faster. I'll go ahead and redo this one. Those little pop-ups are so annoying. I don't think I've ever clicked aloud on like any of those games. Fruit Ninja again. 3, 2, 1. And again, the 11 Pro faster, a little bit, not as big of a difference as I was expecting, but still a faster phone. Let's end it off with Real Racing 3, 2, 1. Now this is one of those bigger intensive apps that I usually test, and for some reason the XS is getting into it faster, which I don't really understand. But maybe, it could just be the loading. Okay, actually, the XS was able to get into it faster just by a second, though. Not that big of a difference, but still kind of weird. I was expecting the iPhone 11 Pro to be faster. But yeah, that pretty much covers the speed comparison. Ultimately, the iPhone 11 Pro, I think, is faster more times. But even then, you couldn't really tell that big of a difference between them. There were some cases where there was a bigger difference. But ultimately, if you're getting a XS, I mean, it's still going to be pretty much almost as fast as the iPhone 11 Pro, in my opinion. Now, hitting on the cameras, actually, this is not going to be a full in-depth comparison. I'm making a whole separate video talking about the camera comparison between these two, so subscribe to this channel so you guys don't miss that. But the iPhone XS had a dual camera setup. The iPhone 11 Pro has a triple camera setup. On the XS, you have two 12 megapixel sensors. On the iPhone 11 Pro, you have three 12 megapixel sensors. So technically speaking, I think in my opinion, the quality will probably be identical. There's going to be more features on the 11 Pro. The quality will probably be better, but I don't think one's going to, overshadow the other by, any long shot. You do have modes like night mode on the 11 Pro. On the front of the iPhone XS, you have a 7 megapixel sensor. On the front of the 11 Pro, you have a 12 megapixel sensor. And now this new sensor on the 11 Pro allows you to do 4K at up to 60 frames per second. So that's really, really cool. I literally love that so much. Also, Face ID got a little bit of an upgrade as well on the 11 Pro. Now, in my opinion, I think the iPhone 11 has a very, very good camera sensor. I don't think you're really missing out on anything in this market. I mean, you can do 4K, you can do you have the telephoto lens, you can zoom in a lot, and I don't think you're missing out on anything portrait mode as well. But of course, the 11 Pro will have the advantage. This is the 11 Pro, by the way. You have a lot more settings, in my opinion. Still not comparable to like the Note 10 or anything, but you have that ultra wide sensor that is now enabled, so that's super cool, as well as that telephoto lens. So not only can you zoom in a lot, but you can also zoom out a lot as well, so that's awesome. But ultimately, I think the quality, like I said, is going to be identical, probably better on the 11 Pro, but the features themselves are better on the iPhone 11. But I'll go ahead and do a whole separate video talking about that camera as well. In terms of the battery life, this is one of my most confusing things I've never been able to understand. So their bodies are almost identical. So they have almost the same size body. They are pretty much exactly the same. Maybe the thickness is a little bit different, but as far as I can tell, maybe it's a little bit thicker, but not by much. They were able to fit, okay, before they had a 2,658 mAh battery in this, but now with this iPhone 11 Pro, they were able to fit a 3,190 mAh battery and almost the same exact body. Yes, this one is, I think it is a little bit thicker now that I feel it, but I don't think it's a crazy amount. Like, I don't think it's worth like a 500 mAh battery increase just in the body itself, the thickness change of it. So why couldn't they have done that earlier? Why couldn't they have put a bigger battery in this instead of shrinking it from the 10 to the, 10S? And the iPhone 11 Pro is smaller in footprint than the iPhone 11, so why didn't they put a bigger battery in the iPhone 11, But I'll make a whole separate video talking about that too, man. I have some strong opinions on that. But overall, the battery will be much better on the iPhone 11 Pro, and I'm actually really, really happy they increased the battery size. I'm so happy about that. I didn't want to come off as salty. Anytime a phone manufacturer does that, I literally love that. And this is like a much bigger battery in my opinion. Before, if you guys heard me talking about the 7 Plus, I said that it had a really good battery life. And I think the iPhone 11 Pro, having it now a bigger battery than those phones, all the Plus models, like the 7 Plus, the 6S Plus, 6 Plus, this one has a bigger battery than those ones in a smaller body. So I love seeing that. And ultimately, like what I can tell you is the 11 Pro is definitely an upgrade. You're getting the bigger battery, better Face ID, better cameras, faster processor, all those cool things. But like I said before, you're not really missing out on anything on the iPhone XS. Like if you gave me an iPhone XS and said, use it, I would not get, like, this is still like a super amazing phone. Like this is still being sold for hundreds, like almost $700, $800 in the used market. This is $1,000 phone. If the iPhone 11 Pro was a 10 out of 10, I would say the iPhone XS is probably like a 9 out of 10 for my uses. Now, if you're somebody who uses their camera a lot, maybe the jump to an iPhone XS is worth it to you. But for me, I barely ever use a camera on my phone. And if I do, it's just send Snapchats or Instagram posts or something like that. It's nothing like professional or anything. That's pretty much it, guys. I mean, my opinion, for anybody who's, picking up a new phone, pick up an 11 Pro. It's, it's the best iPhone right now. But if you're trying to get the best bang for your buck, I think the XS might be the better way to go, in my opinion. But I'll leave a link to the cheapest iPhone XS that I find in the used market on Amazon. So you can go pick it up from there for the cheapest price that I can find. So you can help support the channel at the same time. But that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button. That will mean so much. But definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count. So it would mean so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. And hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.